Okay, hi Eddie. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Eddie. I'm currently a research associate at the Kuan School, at the Kuan School of Public Policy, and there I write about case studies, but also separately I've also been learning about things like text analytics in Python, which is basically using programming to figure out things in language. So, for example, what are the themes that get emphasized in text messages? What's the sentiment score for a bunch of texts? And what are the short topics? What are the topics that you can observe in text? So these are the basic things in text analytics that we want to find out. And there are obviously more advanced things, but for now, that was the project that I got started with UpLevel.
Okay. Yeah. So how did your interest in data science and text analytics in particular, how did it get started? And when?
I've always been interested in figuring out stuff from text, figuring out stuff as in what are the quick ways or what are the ways we can use to comprehend large amounts of text at scale. So it's not just looking at one article, 10 news articles, or even 20 news articles. I think I've always had an interest in aggregating large amounts of textual information. So things like you're starting to look at 100 articles, 1,000 articles over 20 years, and you can't just do that by human reading alone. So that I've always been interested in that. And then in sociology, I encounter a lot of text as well, whether it's the true transcriptions or interviews or just academic journals. So I've always had this long-standing interest in wanting to kind of figure out what is the information and how that information is structured and connected in these large amounts. So I've always had this interest in, natural language processing, and I first got started using R. I was using a separate thing called text mining. There's a separate ecosystem for R, as I found out later. But it was through UpLevel and through this little project that I started to learn about Python's ecosystem in natural language processing as well.
Okay. So was it the first project that you worked on?
So that was the first UpLevel project, and that was the news analysis of articles about the G20 in 2019.
Right.
So that one, before you even get to using the tools, you have to set up the environment. So that was quite interesting in and of itself. That was also the moment I learned about Jupyter notebooks and how Jupyter notebooks worked, and as an interactive environment to learn coding in. So that was that, and then I got introduced to the various libraries, so Python's NLTK and Spacey. And I got to know about the process of computational linguistics, like things like tokenization, lemmatization. So all these funny terms became quite familiar after a while. So it was through this UpLevel project that I also figured out how sentiment analysis is actually done. So that was also pretty interesting, and just also in the process of getting to know and use these tools, also becoming gradually fluent with them. So now I know what I need exactly when it comes to, I need to import these libraries and run this for loop here and there. This is how I structure the information. The module also the project also got me interested, also got me started on learning about pandas as a kind of the most basic tool in data analytics as well. So this was how this first project was quite fun. It got me started on the whole Jupyter notebooks. It got me started in the Python ecosystem, and I learned about pandas and natural language processing in Python.
Okay, so how do you choose the projects that you actually worked on?
The way I was thinking about how to about choosing the exercises was just thinking in terms of diversity. I wanted to be exposed to a range of applications.
Okay.
So text analytics, quantitative estimates, and then with imagery analysis.
Okay.
So that was how I went about doing it. And along the way, you get to learn a few things. You get to learn like the arbitrariness of some of these models, they actually. So when people say like things like machine learning and AI, they are leading fields, it's another way of saying actually some of these things are not completely mature and they're still in the developing stage, and so there are bound to be errors. So, I mean, it was also a way to get to know some of these things firsthand and realizing that a lot of the AI things, some of them can be broken sometimes, and you just have to find a way around them.
Okay.
So that was all this. So that was the way I chose all these 3 topics, and also some of the things I learned along the way.
Okay, so after those like 3 different topics in UpLevel, right, do you sort of like find a niche that you specialize in?
So I'm definitely finding the text analytics one to be the most interesting, and it's the one that I'll probably continue on. So I'll definitely, so beyond the G20 news articles, I've been developing a bunch of, I've done more exercises, so-called exercises in text analytics. So I was able to collect all the years of the National Day rally speeches. So I've done word clouds for them. I've also extracted the entities referenced and all that. I've done this for Mckinsey reports, so very long Mckinsey reports, about 200 plus pages. So I figure out a stream, putting together various Python libraries together, and creating the process for how to convert them into word clouds, basically. On my Git page, you'll see some notebooks out there. So those notebooks contains the processors, the notebooks, the other packages that I use to convert something from PDF to text, and then from text to the various things like word clouds, topic models, the various entities extracted, and the knowledge graphs as well. So I'm finding that to be quite helpful in terms of navigating through articles. And I'm just going to do more.
But like one more thing, do you have any advice for someone that's just starting out? Maybe they don't come from exactly like a programming background.
So programming is not. So the advice for me, for non-com science majors like myself, would just be to it's okay to ask for help, because I asked Jackie for a lot of help. Jackie from UpLevel, a lot of help. I think one of the earliest instances of making a super rookie mistake is to not see an empty space. Like what? Why is there an empty space there? So like everyone makes super rookie mistakes. So that happens, and it's okay to ask for help, to ask for another pair of eyes. Another one is to just keep trying, and just get started. I think getting started is the most important bit. If you go through a problem and it becomes really difficult, I think either try a different thing or just restart and just try again, because usually either something gives way or you find like the real error that's existing. And don't be intimidated by the jargon. After a while, the jargon comes natural to you. So so things like import packages and stuff like that. At first, it sounded quite scary, intimidating, but now you know what exactly they are. So you just do what you need to. There are a lot of looking for help is really very easy, and sometimes it really is just a matter of searching for the error and finding what Stack Overflow gives you. That is unbelievably helpful. And a lot of the programming is really just copy and paste more than what people think. So I mean, just some basic things, and sometimes you need to do really simple demonstrations of what you want to do. So always like figure out how to do those things quite quickly. So like making a simple for loop and making sure your for loop works. So stuff like that. It's very manual in the short term, but after that, once you figure out the for loops and what you need to do, things can get automated quite fast. So what I used to do in the G20 notebook, I can probably now reduce the length of it by much less because I figure out what functions are.
Alright.
Yeah. So don't be intimidated and always look for help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's all that we have for this week. And yeah, thanks, Ben.